It's 2 a.m. and I can't fall asleep, 'cause I'm not tired. I'm thinking about the days we used to shine when we were young. I told you that we should start a band and reach for the sky. It's 2 a.m. and I can't fall asleep, I'm just not tired. I can hear the raindrops falling. It's cold outside and I kinda feel like calling, but it's too late now, I just miss you.
Hi babies! What's up my baby bun buns? Hi guys! Oh yeah, I did not frame it correctly. How's that? I think, oh my goodness, almost sat on somebody. Okay, I think we're good. Hi guys, welcome back to Tealstone Homestead. Today we are going to be discussing baby bunnies. And no, this is not a baby bunny. This is Solstice, and she's a full-grown mama rabbit. They are not living in here full-time right now. It's just really nice this week. Right now it is like 65 outside, and it's so nice, so I decided to pull the tractors out on the ground since it's dry, and they are all enjoying some time out on the grass, so that is very fun. Here is a little blue. Such a cute baby. I am having bunnies bite my shirt. So today, as I'm filming this, it is Tuesday, and my litters are 5 weeks old today. My Silver Fox litters, that is. These baby bunnies are pretty much not drinking milk anymore. They are eating pellets and hay. They start to eat a lot at this age. They are starting to become very social, and that's always fun. As a side note also, my Creme d'Argents have also had their litters, and this was Clove's first litter, and she had 8. And after the first 24 hours, one of them didn't make it, but that's actually pretty normal. So she has 7 very healthy babies, and Camille had 6, and they're all doing well. And so I'm really excited that we have Creme d'Argent babies again. They are seriously the cutest baby bunnies. Don't! These are my good pants. So in part 2, we left off after my does had their babies, so obviously it has been a little bit since my last video. Now the first couple of days after your doe gives birth, especially the first week after she gives birth, it is very important that you check the nest box every day. That's how I do it. I know a lot of people take more of a hands-off approach, but I like to get into my nest boxes every day because I want to make sure that nobody has died. Nest boxes are a good place for bacteria to grow because bacteria likes warm and it likes wet, and the babies will start to pee, and when there's bacteria in there and a baby dies, it decomposes very quickly and it can make the others sick. So that is something that you want to be checking for, especially the first couple of weeks. And after the first week or so, usually you don't have too many issues with like deaths. But there's still a chance that you could, so you still probably should check it. But honestly, you can check it as often as you want to. And usually the way that I check my nest boxes is I like to give my doe a treat every time I check. So a kale leaf or banana or something like that, just something that kind of distracts her, and then I take the nest box out and I check the babies all over. One of the questions that I had on my last video and my question that I posted to the community page is actually what do you do when the nest box starts getting kind of soiled? And this is very common to happen after like the first week or two. Sometimes the nest box it starts to become stinky or wet, and what you do in this situation is you want to take it out and remove the babies, put them like in a bowl or something, and you want to take as much of the original nesting material as you possibly can, put that somewhere and get all the grossness out of there, and clean it if you want to. You can clean it, but I tend to just like try to remove all the wet bedding, and then you can add fresh bedding, so fresh pine shavings or fresh hay, and then add as much of the original bedding back as you possibly can, and then put the babies back in. And the mom is usually fine with this, so I usually don't worry about her like not wanting to be in the nest box after you've done that, so you usually don't have to worry, but it's a good thing to keep the nest box clean. A dirty nest box can actually cause things like nest box eye and respiratory problems down the line. So if you see that it's really dirty after like a week or two, then you're definitely going to want to clean it out and keep them as dry and clean as you possibly can. A lot of first-time rabbit breeders get a little bit concerned when they never see the mama jump in to nurse her babies, but mama rabbits don't lay in the nest box with their babies. They don't sit on them or anything like that. You actually might never see her go in and nurse them, but usually she does, and usually she does when it's dark outside. They only feed their babies once or twice a day, so they don't go in for every couple of hours or anything like that. The babies only need to be fed once or twice a day, so you really don't have to worry if you don't see her wanting to go in the nest box. The way that you can make sure that the babies are being fed is when you check them every day, just make sure their bellies are puffed out. They look like little balloons after they've been fed, so that's a good way to check that they have been fed. Another question that I got is, what temperature do baby rabbits need to be kept in? And they're really not picky. I have more problems in the hot heat of the summer than I do in the winter, and baby rabbits, they keep very warm. I mean, we had days that were like 0 degrees and my baby rabbits were just fine, and I wasn't worried about them. They cuddle together for warmth in the nest box, and when you put your hand in there, if your mama has made a good fur nest, it is very warm in there, so I usually don't worry about them too much in the cold weather. Now, there are always exceptions and very extreme cases, but for the most part, I've never had to bring rabbits in the winter time. I have, however, had to bring them in the summer. We had a day last year where it was 95 degrees and like 100% humidity, and I was worried about the babies overheating in that really hot summer weather. So I did bring them in during the day at that point, and then I brought them back out at night when it had cooled off. And that process is called shelving, and there's different ways to shelve rabbits, but the mama rabbit doesn't usually mind if you take the nest box out for the day and then put them back out at night. I would advise though that you don't do this in the winter, because in the winter it gets a lot colder during the night, and you don't want to shock your baby rabbits by bringing them in a warm house during the day and then putting them out in a really cold environment at night. They need to have some kind of a semblance of regularity. For the most part, I would recommend trying to leave them with the mom if at all possible, but if there are extreme cases, you can shelve them, and the mama usually gets used to that schedule. Now, baby rabbits usually start opening their eyes between 10 and 12 days old, sometimes as early as 7 days old, but for the most part, I think I start seeing most of mine open around 10 days old. So they're very cute when their eyes start opening. They just open like little bitty slits. You see a little bit of a shine, and I just love when their eyes start opening. They start getting very explorative, and that's when they really start coming to life, and they start becoming extremely cute. When you start noticing that your baby rabbits are jumping out of the nest box and exploring, it is then time to create a way for them to get back into the nest box. And you can do this one of two ways. I'm sure there's more than just 2 ways of doing it, but this is the 2 ways that I have found. Is I will either butt up a 4x4 and a 2x4 to act as a staircase that they can jump up and back into the nest box, or what I've been doing more regularly nowadays is just flipping my nest box, and that way they can just go in and out as they please. There's no ledge or anything like that, but the only downside about flipping your nest box is that the nesting material starts coming out, and since there is now a solid bottom after you've flipped your nest box, they'll start soiling on the box, and it's not going to go through the wire, and so it starts to get very unsanitary very quickly. So if you do flip your nest box, either clean it regularly or don't have it in there for too much longer. You can probably remove your nest box between 3 and 4 weeks old. It just really depends on the litter too. If you don't feel like they're ready, then by all means leave it in there. I always tell people to go with their guts on what they think their baby rabbits are ready for. The very first food that your baby bunnies should start eating is hay, and hay is a very good starter food. It's full of fiber. It helps to make sure that your babies don't have diarrhea. So hay available at all times is what I like to do. And once they start jumping out of the nest box, they'll also start to eat pellets. And I've had a lot of people ask me what brand of pellets that I use, what percentage of protein and all that jazz, but we just recently switched feed. We feed Heinold Family Formula 17% protein, and we were on a 17% protein feed before as well. It's just it's a percentage that I like. I've seen good results with it, so that's what I use. It's a good percent to feed growing babies and breeding rabbits and show rabbits and all of that. I just find that it's a good percentage and it's worked really well for us. And one of the most important things that you can do for your growing baby bunnies is have a fresh, clean water supply available to them at all times. I like using Crocs because it is much easier for them to get more water with Crocs than it is water bottles. And it's also easier for me to clean it out when it needs cleaned out. And baby bunnies tend to put a lot of backwash into their Crocs, so it's a lot easier for me to dump that out and give them fresh, clean water. You can also start to introduce very small amounts of fresh greens if that's how you want to do things. It's how I like to do things personally, and I know a lot of breeders say that pellets is all they need, but honestly, I like the idea that fresh is best. And I have done a lot of research on nutrition, and I just like giving them fresh feed when I can. Now, it doesn't replace their pellets and everything like that. I do want to make sure, especially growing baby bunnies, have a balanced diet. So for the most part, the greens are just kind of a supplement. So any leafy green that is rabbit safe is a good starter for your baby bunnies. But again, start them out very, very slow, because especially when they're really, really little, it's very easy for them to get something called weaning enteritis, or just their digestive systems are going through such a change. So just make sure that you have hay available to them at all times, and you shouldn't have a problem if you start out very, very slow. Hi, don't chew holes in it. Oh, please. A lot of people ask me what age I wean my baby bunnies. I have somebody trying to climb me. And for the most part, I try to wean my babies around 8 weeks old. I like letting them stay with their mom as long as possible. What I usually end up doing is I'll let them stay with their mom until they're 8 weeks old, and then I will remove the bucks. So I'll wean the bucks off of her, but I'll keep her with her does. And at that time, I might even rebreed my mama rabbit and let her live with her does for another 2 weeks or so. And then after that, they all get separated out or sold or in their own cages, and then we'll have another litter. The way I do things is kind of a lower intensity breeding schedule, because I don't like to wear my does out. I know a lot of people try to rebreed their doe when their babies are like 3 or 4 weeks old, and you can definitely do that, especially if you're going for high production. But for me, I like to be mindful of my breeder rabbits more than anything else, so I tend to slow down. I mean, sometimes I will breed them a little bit quicker, but for the most part, I like to wait until they're 8 weeks old. There are some situations where I don't do that, but for the most part, I do like to wait when I can. You are a troublemaker. And the last thing that I am going to say about raising the baby bunnies is when to separate your bucks and your does. And that is usually between 8 and 12 weeks old. And the sooner that you can do it around 8 weeks old, the better. Bucks can become sexually mature around 12 weeks old, sometimes even younger. And usually the baby does can't become pregnant that early, but the baby bucks can actually impregnate their mom. So if you can separate them soon around the 8-week mark, that is preferable. And also, you really don't want to leave your bucks together any longer than 12 weeks old either, because they will start fighting each other as they do become mature. The snowball baby. It's one of my blues, guys. Alright guys, so I hope this video was helpful to you. I hope that it helped you along in your baby bunny raising journey. I do want to do a video on evaluating the baby bunnies, and I haven't decided if we're going to evaluate the silver foxes here or if I'm going to wait and do that video with my creams. It's much easier to evaluate a breed that all looks the same, and right now we have all different colors of silver foxes, so it just might be a little bit easier if I wait to do it with the cream, so you guys can focus more on body type rather than colors. But as always, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, and if you have anything to add, or if I missed anything, or if you have any more questions, please let me know and I will try to address it in a future video. Don't! Also, I hope you guys enjoyed me struggling along with these baby rabbits that keep trying to eat my clothes. Stop! This baby bunny will not stop biting my pants. The culprit. Oh my gosh. Leave me alone. Yeah, you can chew on the ring, but you're not gonna do that, are you? You're gonna chew on my pants. Stop! You literally just put a solstice. No! Stop this. Don't bite my pants. Oh my gosh. What are you doing? You should not be there. Now I can't even reach you. There we go. I'm sorry, you guys. This is literally what I do. This is literally what I do in my free time. Alright guys, thank you for hanging out with me today, and I will see you in the next video.